This, what I'm going to say here is really just a theory. I'm not at all sure about it. I think it's possible to verify, but it's just throwing this like a guess. So the reason when I think these surgeries go bad, this turbinate reduction, is I did a show in another video. Basically, I did present a video from a surgeon has done 3,000 surgeries on turbinates. He's an ENT surgeon, and he does say he's an American person, so it's in a like Western country, right, developed country, and he says there is no standardization for these surgeries. And I did explain in a video what he means is that the school, when they study this in college, the doctors, right? The school does not tell them, listen, if you want to reduce turbinates, remove this amount from this place and only this structure or this, there are several, I call this structure, several materials inside. So that doctor said there is no such description in the medical books for students. So what happens if it's like this everywhere? I don't know, maybe in Asia is different. I don't know, I don't have that knowledge, but actually I think it's possible to go in the library on medical school and just check the books. I think it's possible, or even if you know a doctor, ask a doctor, an ENT doctor, ask him, what did you actually study for this kind of surgery in your school, in your college? What did they told you and the other students? I'm really curious if someone knows a surgeon, can ask him or check the medical schools in the library. Anyhow, but what I think it happens if they, just imagine, I'm a surgeon, I'm fresh graduate, I've learned a little bit what's inside the nose. Actually, I know very well what's inside the nose, where the blood vessels are, where the nerves are, and so on, all the material, the structures in there. But nobody told me how to perform this surgery precisely. Maybe someone told me, I'm the surgeon, fresh graduate, told me, you need to remove a little bit there and a little bit there. But I don't know exactly. What happens is, especially the surgeons, will just go after they finish their studies, will just, I'm not sure what's the name in English, but before they start to actually work by themselves, they will perform several years in surgeries, several years actually. They will just be working in a hospital, but they will be supervised directly by an older surgeon, someone with experience. I don't know in English what's the name for this. So this is every time happens like this, like for every student, doctor, especially the surgeons, they practice like this several years before they can work by themselves alone, if you want. And during those years of practice, imagine an ENT doctor has, ENT means throat, nose, ears. So he has to cover a lot of situations. I'm talking about surgeons. ENT doctors, they do treatments and diagnosis, and they may also do surgeries. Not all of them, they do surgeries, but they need to know, I guess, how to do surgeries as well, right? So I'm saying this just to explain that not all ENT doctors, it's also a surgeon, because some just don't choose to do surgeries. It's just a part of their expertise. So during those years, first years of practice, when he's supervised by an older doctor, surgeon, and it doesn't happen just at one place, right? So they will, maybe this year they will be at this hospital, and they would work with this and these doctors, which are senior doctors, and they will see a lot of situations. And basically during those years, they need to see, in theory, all the possible situations that can happen, right? So you can have problems, maybe 1,000 issues with your ears, 1,000 issues with your nose, and so on. So I was in contact with the medical world. I'm not giving you details here, but I know that, I do remember doctors, not necessarily ENT doctors, but I do remember that when they say, oh, today I've seen a very interesting case of this or that illness, surgery, whatever. So it's always a matter of cases. So they may be lucky. Maybe some of these future nostril surgeons will work with someone who is doing nostril surgeries, and he will see a lot of surgeries. And also, hopefully, that senior doctor, surgeon, will tell him, hey, look, we need to remove only this piece, this much, this way. So it's like a mentor, that senior surgeon, right? So hopefully they are exposed to good mentors, good senior surgeons, and also, and this is the point with my video, hopefully they are exposed to these surgeries at all. Now, I don't know, I've never been there, but just imagine maybe you are in a place where nobody is doing nostril surgeries. And during your entire years of practice like this, you will never see a surgery, nostril surgery, or turbinate surgery. And then you go by yourself, just go by your practice, and do your practice for 2 years, and one day a person suffering comes to you and tells you, I cannot breathe, and so on, and you think, oh, let me just do a turbinate reduction, but you don't really know how. So maybe this sounds weird, this sounds unusual, unbelievable, hard to believe, but I don't think it's that unusual. I don't think it's that impossible. So there's two things here. Surgeons who maybe have not been exposed through their years of practice, of medical practice, with a mentor, have not been exposed to this kind of surgeries, but also who have not been exposed to this kind of surgeries done well. Because like I said in the beginning of this video, that doctor said there is no standardization. So in other words, more or less to some extent, everyone is doing what they think it's okay to do. And that's scary, that's really scary, because they know not to section these blood vessels or not to cut this nerve, but more than that, they will have, I guess the idea is just to remove the most they can, so it makes more space in there, so it's going to be better. The more the space, the better the airflow, basically. Maybe that's what they are thinking. So perhaps there are, basically, you can sum it up, 3 main problems. This problem is standardization, and then the problem with practice, to be exposed and to learn from a senior surgeon the right way to do this, or even to learn it at all. To be exposed to a senior surgeon who is doing these surgeries during their year of practice. So just imagine there may be surgeons out there. I know one at least, and you know perhaps yourself one, those who are watching these videos. There are surgeons who maybe never first did learn this intervention the right way. They don't really know what are the problems, perhaps, because I believe from what I've seen, the information about anti-Noe syndrome is not so spread in the medical community. I don't want to say some doctors or many doctors don't believe it. It's true, but I just feel like they are not aware of this to some extent. So imagine, they kind of, some of them do whatever. Obviously there are going to be outcomes like mine and yours and other people with anti-Noe syndrome. So maybe this sounds, again, maybe you don't believe that this could be real, what I'm saying, but I can tell you, just like in life, it's not a perfect science. And even those years of practice for a surgeon or any doctor, basically, you learn from the things that you have the chance to see in that medical center or so, right? And if there are things that you don't see for some reason, for some random reason, right? Maybe it didn't happen at all in your practice, that kind of specific situation, you cannot cover everything. You learn perhaps about everything, but you cannot cover in practice everything, then that piece of situation, you just are not experienced how to do it, or maybe you don't even know how to do it correctly. Nothing more I can add. I hope I'm wrong, but the practice doesn't show that. The results, me and you, doesn't show I'm wrong, actually, unfortunately. So it is. Thanks for watching, good luck, and just stay positive.